talk about something that feels like it should be easy, but really isn't. How do you actually make friends as an adult? I mean, real, genuine connections. It seems like we're more connected than ever, but for a lot of us, it can feel, well, pretty impossible.
And this, right here, this kind of reveals the secret underbelly of the internet, doesn't it? People aren't just looking up movie times or dinner recipes. They're quietly, desperately searching for a cure to loneliness. And that's the real problem we're going to get into, because the old advice just doesn't cut it anymore.
I mean, come on, let's be real. If you've ever Googled this, you've seen the same old tired suggestions. Call your high school friends. Right. The ones I haven't spoken to in 10 years for a very good reason. Or join a local club. It sounds nice in theory, but it just feels so generic, so out of touch.
And you know what's wild? The very platforms that are supposed to connect us are often the biggest problem. Just think about an app like TikTok. It is brilliantly engineered to keep you entertained and happy, all while you're sitting completely alone. It's an incredible form of solo entertainment, but it is not a tool for real social bonding.
So this leads us to a pretty stark conclusion. The internet, for all its promises, has pretty much failed us when it comes to building deep, meaningful, in-person friendships. And that leaves us with one option, the one that has always worked. We have to develop the skills to connect with people in the real world. And that's exactly what we're doing today. We're building that toolkit.
All right, let's dive into our first pillar. This isn't just about meeting more people. It's about meeting the right people and doing it in a way that doesn't waste your time. It's all about creating a filter that draws your kind of person straight to you.
So our first tool is called the polarizer. Think about how exhausting it is to hang out with a new group for weeks, maybe even months, trying to be agreeable, only to find out you have absolutely nothing in common. The polarizer is your shortcut. It's about being your true, unfiltered, maybe even kind of weird self right from the jump. So here's how it works. You got a dark sense of humor, a quirky opinion on something? Don't hide it. Let it out. If the other person kind of pulls back or looks at you funny, amazing. You just saved yourself so much time and energy. But if they laugh, if they lean in, boom, you've just struck gold. You found someone who gets it. And this leads perfectly into the next idea, the obsession. So many of us try to be a boring filler friend, someone who's vaguely into movies and music. But here's the secret. People are way more drawn to someone who is deeply, passionately obsessed with something. I don't care if it's competitive dog grooming, than someone who likes nothing. Your niche obsession, that's your superpower.
Okay, so we've covered how to find the right people. Now we have to tackle what is honestly the biggest barrier for most of us, the one that's right inside our own head. This second pillar is all about mastering your mindset so you can finally get out of your own way.
You know this feeling, right? You're in a conversation and your brain just goes into overdrive. You're analyzing and editing every single thought before you say it, trying to craft the perfect response. And by the time you've approved it in your head, the moment's gone. That's the trap. The escape route from that mental prison is what we'll call the flow state. And the idea is shockingly simple. Just stop editing. Speak. If what comes out is a little awkward or even full-on cringe, so what? It's not a failure. It's just data. It's information you can use to calibrate for the next conversation. That's it.
Really, it all boils down to two different mindsets. The anxiety mindset puts this insane amount of pressure on every single interaction. But the abundance mindset, that changes everything. It's the understanding that making friends is a numbers game. Not every chat has to be a home run. Who cares? You learn, you move on to the next one. No pressure.
All right, we figured out how to filter for the right people, and we've gotten our head in the right space. Now it's time for pillar 3, taking action. This is all about the actual, practical tactics you can use to start conversations and build real connections.
I absolutely love this quote because it's such a powerful mental flip. This is the core idea behind a method we'll call the protagonist. Instead of waiting around hoping someone interesting talks to you, you just adopt the mindset that you're the main character in the room, and everyone is secretly hoping you'll be the one to break the ice.
And look, being the protagonist doesn't mean you have to be loud or the center of attention. It's actually super simple. It just means you're the one who says hello first. You're the one who asks interesting questions that can't be answered with a yes or no. And, this is the most important part, you're the one who actually listens to the answers. That's it. The people with the most friends are simply the ones who initiate.
Now for a brilliant little tactic I call the co-pilot. This is maybe the most effective, low-pressure way to ask someone to hang out. It's subtle, it's clever, and it completely flips the script on a normal invitation.
Here's the formula. It's so simple. First, you just ask someone, hey, is there anything you've always wanted to do around here but just haven't? Maybe they've always wanted to try the new rock climbing gym. Then you offer to be their co-pilot and do that specific thing with them. See what happened? You just framed the invitation as you doing them a favor. It makes it almost impossible to say no.
So we've gone through a lot here. We've talked about filtering, about mindset, about taking action. But the single most important takeaway is this. Making friends isn't some kind of magic you're born with. It is a learnable skill. And now that you have the tools, it's time to think about taking that first step.
And that brings us to the final and most important part. I want you to look back at these methods we talked about, the polarizer, the protagonist, the co-pilot. And I want you to ask yourself this one question. Which of these methods scares you the most? Which one gives you that little pit in your stomach just thinking about it? Yeah, that one. That's probably the one you need to try first. That's your first step.